The Jets finished 5-12 last season, their ninth consecutive losing season, the worst record by an Aaron Rodgers-led team in his career. New York announced they would be moving on from Rodgers back in February. The 41-year-old won't be able to agree to a deal with a new team until free agency does start next week. So, what about the receiver that came there to play with him? What about Davante Adams? The Jets traded for him in October. He has 2 years left on a 5-year, $140 million deal. He won't return as the Jets quarterback. Davante Adams, again, with 2 years left, and after all those years in Green Bay, Adams has really struggled the last 5 seasons with quarterbacks not named Aaron Rodgers. He's averaged almost 2 fewer yards per target and has caught just 57% of the passes thrown his way, down from 72% when he was catching them from Rodgers. Adams catching passes from the likes of Derek Carr, Aiden O'Connell, Jimmy Garoppolo, Gardner Minshew. So, Adam, what is the latest on Davante's future with the Jets?
Listen, from the moment the Jets announced that they were moving on from Aaron Rodgers, the full expectation was that Davante Adams would not be back in New York with the Jets. The only question is, could they find a trade partner for his salary? The issue is, what team out there is going to be taking on Davante Adams' contract? It is hard to imagine that would happen. The Jets always can hold out hope that maybe some team could do it, but the overwhelming probability is that was never going to happen and that they're going to wind up releasing him. That's been the full expectation across the league. Really, it's only a matter of time before it happens, and then Davante Adams will be free to go where he wants, sign where he chooses, pick a home that he will be playing in 2025. But unless there's some unexpected trade that happens to materialize at the last moment, the Jets always were going to be moving on from Davante Adams once they moved on from Aaron Rodgers. And so we'll see where Davante Adams surfaces. Again, let's just go back to Deebo Samuel. The 49ers had a hard time finding a single team that was willing to take on his $17.5 million salary. This is a salary that's double for an older player. It's just very hard to find that at this time of the year. So the overwhelming chances are he's going to be released, he's going to be a free agent, and he's going to be finding a new home at some point here in the next couple of weeks.
And who knows if Aaron Rodgers plays somewhere, maybe they get together again. But Dan, regardless, who should be interested in at least exploring the notion of Adams?
I think going back to Green Bay makes sense. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers would try to find somebody competent opposite George Pickens. I'd also say the Denver Broncos. You know, Davante still averaged over 12 yards a catch last year, had 7 touchdowns. And while we can all sit here and respectfully say, no, he is not the Davante of old who was the best receiver in football, if you're a football team that's looking for, you know, a good 2 or a really, really good third pass-catching option, Davante Adams clearly can still produce exactly what that role is needed. So Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Denver are the 3 teams that come to mind for me.
I would also throw in the Chargers because I think that offense is going to flow through Ladd McConkey, but having him on the perimeter would be really helpful. Dan, I was sitting at a bar in Indianapolis, and the Ravens-Raiders game came up. If you think Davante Adams still doesn't have something to offer, put that game on because it was a reminder. He can still play, and he can still give you big plays downfield. So I do think there are going to be options for him, likely as a cut candidate, as Adam alluded to. And then I think for the Jets, you have to suddenly start figuring out, okay, what does this roster look like in this post-Rodgers, Davante Adams world? Wide receiver is a need, but it's not the biggest need. I would put offensive tackle, safety, tight end above that, and then obviously they got to figure out what they're doing at the quarterback position. So they might have to go bargain hunting at receiver maybe later in the draft, or a free agent like a Josh Palmer, if they were to switch places with the Chargers, might make sense for them, more of a possession guy, but it is not their biggest need, and then Garrett Wilson becomes the focal point moving forward.
Right. I mean, as Mina just said, Dan, they have so many needs. They have the 7th pick in the draft. What should this new regime at the Jets be focused on?
Garrett Wilson. Mina just said it. I would try to get Garrett Wilson signed to a long-term contract. I don't care who's been playing quarterback. The young man has produced. And for what seems like nothing's gone well for them, he's been sensational. I want him. Number 2, I got to rebuild my lines of scrimmage. Not necessarily. I think the offensive line's got a chance to be a little bit better personally than the play last year. The defensive line, specifically the interior. MK, I don't think they chase quarterback in the draft, me personally. I actually think if you can get Justin Fields to come there, it makes a lot of sense. Maybe he's not the future, but maybe he is. But you also don't rush into a 8th pick quarterback or 7th pick quarterback and make a decision that's probably not going to be beneficial for the future.
Yeah, they only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster right now. That's Tyrod Taylor and Jordan Travis. All right,
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.